You know what that means? Go do your dishes. All right, here we go.
This podcast is proudly sponsored by Surf Prep Sanding. They're family-owned and operated company specializing in sanders, abrasives, and dust extractors. I've been using Surf Prep for years and have come to know the amazing people behind their brand. I love their 6-inch random orbital sander and the 3x4 sander the best, and they have helped me level up my sanding to get a great finish for my projects. Use code MAKERLOUNGE, all one word, at surfprepsanding.com for 10% off your order. Now let's get to today's episode.
Thank you to Surf Prep and our patrons for sponsoring this episode. As always, I'll give a shout out to our top tier patrons at the end of this episode. We have a new patron, David Miller at D Miller Designs. Joined us on patreon.com. So if you want to be like David and be cool, head over to patreon.com/Maker Lounge Podcast. Hey guys, welcome to the lounge. I'm Matt with Boltner Woodworking and your handsomely bearded host of the Maker Lounge Podcast. These two returning guests are a couple of my closest friends in the maker community. We trash talk from time to time, but it's mostly about our own social media performance. Not only do we have a competition over how much surf prep stuff we have, but between the three of us, we have done enough product reviews to put QVC out of business. Give a warm and awkwardly weird welcome to Steve Mosley and Trey Jones.
Just couldn't hold it together, could you, Matt?
I was trying to say give a warm and awkward welcome to Steve Mosley with Making at Home, and Trey Jones with Handcrafted by Trey. It didn't come out that way.
It definitely didn't.
And I have not been drinking. Maybe I need to start.
Cheers to you.
So to return smooth, yes. And if you are catching this after the recording, if you're not like our cool Patreon members listening to this live, and you're catching this after the fact, we may crack a joke from time to time that we're seeing in the chat. So so you never know what's going to happen here in the podcast. We like to mix it up. So yeah, after my smooth intro, where was I? I got all warm and fuzzy when you were complimenting me on my intros.
Oh man, I know.
You really amped up the pressure there.
Well, the beard threw me off. I mean, I was just mesmerized.
I still don't know what to say.
All right, let's do the intro over again. Steve, you're up. Ready?
No.
You got nothing? So you're not coming for my job?
No. I am nowhere close to that at this point.
Oh. Well, I think this is episode 45. So I think, 44 episodes, you'll get to the... you can fumble your way through the intro just like I could.
Yeah.
I was thinking about redoing it, but at this point, Don Patterson, he was the lurker. So for those of you that don't know, we were talking before the show started. We have people who can comment while we're recording the episodes, and there was somebody who was we think is lurking because you can't see who it is. And so Don Patterson, thanks for joining us and figuring out the chat button.
Yeah, here to steal our ideas.
So a little bit different of a podcast episode. Normally, I say normally, over the last probably 20 episodes, so I guess that would be normal. I've been doing a lot of one-on-one conversations, it's been really nice to do that. But I thought, let's mix it up and let's have a couple people on. Let's talk shop. Let's talk about kind of this was the original intent of the podcast, actually, is to just talk stuff.
I was part of a few of those myself.
Yep. So Trey, the topic is to you. No, I'm just kidding. Put all the pressure.
Let's roll.
Yeah. I have no notes for tonight.
It's a good thing.
Yeah. So we're rolling with it.
Sounds good.
I was thinking, let's since you both are laser people, and Steve, you've had a big job that I think, did you deliver a big project today?
I burned all the cups yesterday. I think I did 154 yesterday.
Wow.
It was a long day.
154.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
20-ounce tumblers. And it was a long day, just kind of hustling, trying to keep everything moving and keep feeding the laser. But should be delivering those either tomorrow or Tuesday night. So, that was a good one. That was the best one I've had.
So, what were you running them on?
It's a Monport 50-watt fiber laser.
Okay. And so one rotary, 154 cups.
Yeah. Some were a dark gray and some were like a baby blue color. And the dark gray ones I could do in about 3 minutes a piece. And then the light blue ones just couldn't get settings that would go that fast. So it took about 6 minutes per cup. I had to do 2 passes. And so the last ones, thank goodness the blue ones, I only had about half as many. So if I would have had a lot more, it would have taken a lot longer. But yeah, it worked out really well. And I think I only had one bad cup out of the whole bunch because of a slight logo change.
Can you imagine running that on a 10-watt diode laser?
3 weeks later, you're almost done.
Yeah.
But
Come
that
out with
alone,
a totally new logo by that time.
Yeah.
But that alone is what people don't realize is just a simple change in color changes the entire outcome of everything. It's just crazy.
Yeah. And it doesn't always make sense either because the charcoal ones, dark gray ones, took 3 minutes and they were at 25% power, and the baby blue ones I had to do 2 passes at 40% power. It just, you wouldn't think it would. You think it'd be almost the opposite, but
so the same stuff, the same reaction on a fiber laser as you would have on a diode laser, where it reacts better to darker colors.
I think so. Yeah.
There's just something about when it gets too hot and the absorption of heat and then reaction to the stainless steel underneath. If it gets too hot, then you burn through it again, and it's toast. And
you get like a discoloration, almost like a goldish patina. And
do you
lines.
do you do a material settings test before you, like, do you have one cup that you just test? You do.
I have a bunch of old bad cups that I'll test settings on from time to time, or maybe check a logo to see if it works. In an area that hasn't been burned yet. Just to make sure. Because once in a while, the way it looks on the screen doesn't always look good proportion-wise on the cup.
I should have brought them in. I'm sitting in the office right now, and they're out in the shop. But I just ran a stainless, because I got the 40-watt module from X-Tool, and I ran a test grid on one of my stainless cups. And if you do it like at 20% power versus 60% power, you can get like oranges and blues and stuff like that. On that stainless steel. It looks super cool. So I always like to do those little tests, and then what I tried to do is I had the Maker Lounge podcast logo, which is orange and blue, and I was like, oh, I could do orange and blue. So I put the blue settings to whatever that was, like 60% power, and then I put the orange at whatever that setting was, like 80 or 90%, whatever. And I ran the cup, and it was like blue and gray. Like, dang it. So even when you do a test, you're like, is it going to turn out? But I think it has to do with, like you were talking about, Trey, the light absorption. So like if you're doing a small patch, a 5mm patch, and it's going back and forth super quick, it's maintaining that heat absorption. But then if you've got like a longer run, it's not maintaining that heat. So you need to compensate for that longer run.
Can throw the whole burn off.
Yeah, because even in a lot of logos, your center section will be the mass of the removal. So even though you have a good start, and then as it gets to the center and it's running those longer runs, it gets hotter, and so it will change everything as well. So it's just crazy. Like the other night, not to go on a different. I was doing cups, and I swore I would never do customer purchased Yeti cups, and here we are. A person brought me 30 cups, and I lost 6 of them. But I told them, sorry, You know,
Yeah.
I told them going in, this is what it is. I don't do it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But they kind of begged me, and here we are. They
Right.
lost $100 worth of cups, but it's all because collar changing and everything else. I just couldn't get it right.
Yeah, so typically you would have like when you do a woodworking project, you do, materials. You have you build in like a 30% materials allowance, right? Like,
Yeah.
would you do the same thing for? I don't do tumblers really. So do you do the same thing with tumblers? And I mean, you can't have a third of a cup, so like.
It just depends on the order size. That's for me. That's what it all comes down to. How many am I selling at what price? Can I afford to lose a cup and then it not affect the end result? Or if I don't lose a cup, then I always buy. I think we all, or at least Steve and I have talked about it. We purchase a extra cup of the same color, whatever it is, for a test cup. But if it works great, now we just have an extra one for the next guy and kind of go from
Well,
there.
you're doing an addition on your house so you can store cups. So
Gosh. Yeah, that's a whole other story.
that's tumbler storage.
Yeah.
But
on
100
this
go ahead.
on this big order though, because I had 52 of these light blue cups. The person who ordered them, we actually got a couple of the blue and a couple of the graded to make sure they were going to turn out before we placed a full order.
Yeah.
And yeah, it worked out really well.
Mm.
Because I'd never burned either one of those colors before, and I was just nervous, as most people are with a new color, because you just don't know if you can get the settings to work right.
Nope. It's tough. It really is. Everything changes between colors. But once you get it and you categorize it, it usually stays close to the same.
Yeah.
Not always. They still change down the road sometimes.
Yeah. So what were your, we have somebody in the chat kind of asking what your settings were, keep it brief for the podcast listeners.
Yeah.
But,
on the blue, I think I was running 500 speed, 40% power, two passes, and 60 hertz for the frequency.
really put you on the spot. I had somebody ask me on one of the YouTube videos that I did. They're like, "Oh, what were your settings on that spatula thing?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I never remember that because I adjust it for every project. I usually have like my stainless, test pieces or my quarter inch or half inch, whatever. Yeah, just have my little scrap pieces. So, and it could be any one of those things. And I don't save like one-off projects. I'll just do it and run it and then close it.
Yeah.
Because I'm horrible with file storage for like my projects. I've got some in like a creative drive and some in like a woodworking one. How do you do do you guys save your designs for if they come back up? Oh, well, you guys are better than me.
So everything I save is to my OneDrive. I pay into it and I have it, and that way it's accessible from anywhere. Plus, I upload it, so if something did happen to that computer, I can grab it from. I have two computers I use for my CNC files as well as my Lightburn stuff, and I can just grab it either place, and that way I'm not lost.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing is just saving the company by their company name, and then you can always go back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I
all
do the same.
stuff.
I do the same thing, Trey. I use Dropbox instead, but yeah, same thing.
You're not one of those type of people that I'm not this person either. But saves it to your desktop where you like open up your desktop and you have like 500 files on there. I'm like, how do these people operate in life? Just in general, where you have like 500 different things that you can select from, and they're not organized in any form or fashion.
Yeah, that would kill me.
Yeah, that I guess. So I'm slightly organized. I just don't, for those types of things. Sometimes I save it in a laser folder, and sometimes I don't. I don't know, but because I guess for me, I'm always thinking like, oh, there's a better way I can do it in the future. Like I learned from something, I can redo it. But you guys are saving way more time than me.
It pays off really, especially
Yeah.
when in the cup world you get a lot of repeat customers.
Yeah.
That or sometimes you don't. I'm not saying every time, but the companies will come back to you, so it's easy just to grab it. No design time. It's just it works and run it.
Yeah, and you guys are both using Lightburn.
Yeah.
Yep.
So do you organize the colors, or do you have material settings saved where like 00 or 01, 02, the colors at the bottom?
Oh, right. For the layers,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Are you saving different settings for that, or are you kind of changing it for each project?
I just double check all the settings every time just to make sure, because there's so many settings in Lightburn, especially with a fiber laser, that you can mess up something up real easy. And every once in a while, I'll forget to enable the rotary and mess it up that way. I'm sure Trey's never done that, but
Trey's perfect.
Well, let me say this, and this is going to go down our path that a lot of probably listeners won't understand. But when you set up a rotary to the fiber laser on Lightburn, it has to be positioned in the right spot because it's not dead center of your workpiece. You know what I mean? So like you have to set it up. And you have to set up this grid pattern that you know where the cup is going to be at every single time. So I actually have a saved file that I go to every time, and it's always set to black, just because black is the most common cup. So all my settings are already in for that, but I just open it and the settings are there, and then I do change for other colors, but it's limited.
Yeah. I've been doing a lot more testing than actual projects lately.
Yeah, it works for your videoing. I mean,
yeah,
for the path you're going down too.
Yeah. And so today I was playing with the infrared module for the X tool and trying to figure that out. And then I'm like running it at 3 millimeters per second or something like that, just to make sure it's super fine. It's great detail, but I'm sitting there going like, I bet you a laser can do this in like 20 times speed. Like just insane difference.
Yeah. You can run it up to 1200, 1500 and not even think twice on a fiber.
Yeah. Millimeters per second.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's talk about brand sponsorships. No.
Well,
Yeah. So I'm sure you guys get a lot of the same. You get emails all the time from laser companies, just like fly by night laser companies. I got one the other day. It was from like, I can't even tell you. It was like, the name didn't even make sense. It was like PQZMLTRF or whatever. I don't know. I'm just making that up. But it was just like a bunch of consonants, laser. And it like, oh, we'd love to collaborate with you. In exchange for a laser, you provide us excellent review. I'm like, let's go with a no on that.
yeah.
And we'll provide compensation up to $400 US. And I'm like, I'm going to go with a no, I think, on that one.
you
For the
probably
pure
get a
fact
lot
you-
more because of your YouTube style stuff. I mean, but
Finally.
yes, I am still, I do get some of that as well. It just
Yeah.
depends.
Yeah, there has been a lot of. I think I probably get 3 or 4. Oh, we lost Steve. Nick says, "Bye, Steve." It's been fun. Nick, you want to join us? There's a slot open.
Yeah. Sub me in.
Sub me in, coach. Let's see what happens with Steve here. There he goes.
Is he back? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't tell
Sorry
me
about that.
you unplugged it.
Nope. Internet just went out here for a split second. I don't know what happened.
He had to shut down the computer so that way he could run a laser job real quick.
Yeah.
He's got,
Did you
got
hear me swear
154
when it went
tumblers. Well, hopefully it didn't lose the recording. But yeah, did you close the browser down or did it?
No.
Okay.
It just said to refresh, so
Okay.
I did, and it looks like it's back uploading.
Perfect.
Mine's
Well,
at 99% right now. So
You were about 10 seconds from getting replaced with Nick. So
yeah, sub me in. Did you see
Just
it?
lurking
Oh, he was
in the
waiting.
shadows.
He was just waiting. Hey, Nick, look at my shirt. I'm wearing the Dylan. No, Trey, we don't want to see your pepperonis. I'm showing. I'm showing my Dylan Furniture shirt. And no, his name's not Dylan.
No,
It's Nick. Ask him the story.
or not because he doesn't like it.
He's very elusive about that story.
I know.
He tells different stories to different people.
Yeah.
I think there was some guy named Dylan. He was lurking and he took over his business.
Swooped in.
Just like he was waiting to swoop in on this podcast.
Yeah.
You were about out.
You found out, Nick. Sorry. So what were we saying? We were talking about lasers and... Boy, we get derailed real fast.
Yeah, cheap lasers and people messaging you. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sort of
So yeah, so lately I've been getting a lot of because finally the YouTubes are picking up, and so yeah, I'm getting just fly by night companies reaching out to do lasers. I'm like, I had no idea that so many different laser companies existed.
Right.
I mean, you do a research on Amazon, you can see them out there, and they all look the same. They're all basically just the regular little frame or whatever. Like new best on market 33 watt diode laser. I'm like 33. How do you even? I guess an 11 watt, like 3 11 watt diodes put into one. Like what's going on here? Or would that be like a 5.5
times 5? No.
times 6?
Hey,
So tell me more about your margin, Trey. How do you figure out your margin?
I moved the decimal and hit times 3.
Yeah.
Creative accounting.
Yeah.
So Trey, what was your biggest tumbler order?
My biggest was 4 cases, and Steve passed me.
What's 4 cases? 24?
Yeah, 24.
Okay.
In a case.
Yeah. So Steve passed me, beat me. I
Okay.
gave him a big high five and a pat on the back, but also was mad. Mean mugged him a little bit.
See, I said in the intro, we trash talk. We've got a little friendly competition on how much surf prep swag or how much surf prep stuff. I think Steve actually has the winner on both of those then.
Surf
Steve had-
prep?
No.
I don't
Yeah?
think
No,
so.
I think Trey does.
Really?
I've only got 2 Sanders. Trey has 4.
Oh, wait. I thought you had more Sanders than that.
No?
Nope. I got all 4, so
Oh, okay.
you guys can
Well,
take the back seat on that one.
Okay. Flex.
We've got yeah. Weird flex. That's fine. That's fine. Before we started recording, I was like, "Hey Trey, you should put some surf prep in the background next to your New Balance shoes."
The classic dad shoes right there.
Hashtag not sponsored. Hashtag wannabe.
Yeah. They don't have grass stains yet.
Right. New Balance, if you're listening to this, that Maker Lounge podcast.
Yeah.
I could use a second pair.
Only thing I make out on the track is a pool of sweat. And that's standing there watching Trey run. So
I don't do it very often, so.
You've been doing some running and stuff or what?
I have. I've been using the old Peloton tread, and it's been doing me all right.
Yeah.
Got the old dad bod here.
Parentheses, sips Coors Light.
Yeah. Hey, you got some crazy kids. You got
to stay hydrated.
You got to stay hydrated. Insane.
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
Oh man. So yeah, today my kids were driving me up a wall. My wife is sick. She's got the thing that we can't talk about.
Oh man.
Well, I think you can talk about it now. I don't think they blackball you for saying the word. But yeah, she came down with the sickness, and so she's going to be out of school all week. She's a teacher, and so I had, the kids were running around the house today, and I was like, oh my gosh, how does she do it? Like, this is crazy. And then I remembered why I'm out in the shop all the time.
Hiding.
Yeah. Oh, Nick said he lost all sound. Hopefully he didn't lose it. Hopefully everybody didn't lose it.
And we're back.
Yeah.
There we go.
But yeah, we've got a friendly competition, the surf prep. So Steve, you've got 2 Sanders. I've got 3 Sanders. Trey, you've got 4. You're the winner.
Yep. Yeah.
And you have the inspection light.
Oh,
you
I
have the
do have
inspection-
the inspection light. Yep.
I do
Yeah.
have that.
Okay. We all match on that one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, how about sandpaper? Who's the winner on that? Not me.
Probably not me.
Maybe me. Trey, you got us?
Yeah, I got you on that too.
Really?
I just supplied myself, so I ordered I
You
got
got to
mad.
get the new shop all set. set.
Yeah. So long story short, I ran out of film 3x4 film. And like, you can't go to just the store to buy that. So I was super mad, and I was actually burning through. Well, yeah, you suck. So I was burning through my pads because they don't last as long because they're for a purpose, not just sanding.
Right.
We can go into a whole nother detail of that for the viewers or listeners, but I ran out of film. I can't go to the store and buy it, and so when I did go and purchase it, I purchased a lot, and I also got those storage organizers, and so I'm packed.
Oh, you did the sustainers?
No, not the sustainers. I got
photo organizers.
Well, one of them is a photo organizer, and the other ones are fishing containers that you can get at Walmart for like $10 a piece. And so I've got all my 5-inch stuff in one of them, and 6-inch, and then my 3x4s. I got them in all those photo containers, and they are pretty awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
So we got the surf prep competition. We've got the laser competition. Now, who has owned? Because I know we got some of us got rid of lasers when other companies came in. Who? Let's just leave that one out there. If you're watching, you can figure out who it was by their face, their sheepish grin. How many? Who has out lasered everybody? I've had. Now, I guess does the X tool, if you have like 3 different modules for it, does that count as 3? I would say so.
Well, sure, you would say so. I've only got 2 for mine. So
but
20 and the 40 watt.
I think Trey might have us on the lasers.
I'll let you guys bicker, and then we'll come back around.
You're gonna sweep in at the last second.
How many lasers?
You're gonna
lasers do you currently
lay it on
have?
the table. Boom.
Currently, I got 2 fiber lasers. I got the CO2 laser. I've got a diode, 5-watt module if you're going to talk modules, and a 10-watt. So,
okay. Yeah, that's what I lost count. Was that 5 or 6?
yeah, we'll just go with that.
Okay. Plus a few lost in the shuffle.
there's been a couple.
Yeah. So, but I think you win on this one.
Yeah, barely.
But so we got to give each of you a win, right, for being on the podcast.
I know.
So there you go. You're both winners. You're both winners in my book.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. I wonder how many projects the 3 of us have done. I was talking with Logan on the last episode, and I made a joke about how many followers he had. I was like, oh, he has done as many projects as he has followers or whatever, and it was like 100 and something thousand, 120 something thousand or whatever.
I mean, if you really broke them down into just even the small, there's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
But when I first got into it, kind of like all of us, we did what we wanted, our odds and ends projects, and like, can I do it? Let's try it. And then that's where I shined. It's just that's where, like, when I started the, the Maker Central Challenge thing, like the boombox, like I absolutely enjoyed that so much because it brought me back into my creative side and like, what can I do with all this scrap?
Yeah, it was like the Master Chef or whatever, when they give them the box of things, they're like, what can you make with cucumbers and lead screws? You're like, I don't know. I think what can I make with that? So those are always fun to challenge the creativity.
And that video that it jumped overnight from 7,000 up to it was 183 when we logged on to here.
Really?
Nice.
Yes, overnight.
Wow.
Such a silly video.
I should probably check it out.
the Say Anything video?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Really? Okay.
John Cusack.
Give us a recap.
Long story short, so I dubbed the video of Say Anything, right? Everybody knows the classic standing in the yard with the boombox above your head,
Right.
Yeah, so everybody knows that clip with the girl, turning over. But my boombox is electrically, you have to have it plugged in. So it's me every stage grabbing an extension cord, hooking another extension cord into an extension cord, walking out, like turning it on, and then finally we got power, and then like all of a sudden like I like sub QSAC in, and then to me standing there holding it above my head, and it came pretty funny. It came out pretty good.
That's great.
And then it like I said, it was like 7,000 yesterday, and now it's like 180 some. So it's like
Nice.
Somebody
Pick
thought
up
it was
any
funny.
Pick up any follows on
Not
that?
not much.
No.
I think like 20.
Oh man.
Yeah, no.
So,
Story of my life.
Yeah, I wonder if well, we'll go down the social media stuff here in a few minutes, but yeah, I want to come back to this. I wonder if people have just stopped subbing and following, like if they're just consumers now. So
I think there's a lot of truth
table
to that too.
We'll come back to that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that.
So, Steve, what was the most challenging laser project that you've ever worked? I know you've done a lot of stuff. We talked in your episode. We talked a lot about your I can't say the word still.
Topographic.
I want to say topography. I did the same thing
Same
when
thing.
your episode. Yeah.
I would actually say the same thing, Matt. So don't feel bad.
So yeah, your topo stuff on CNCs. But what's been your most challenging laser job?
Oh, I did have one tumbler order on the fiber laser. I could not get the settings to come out, and I wasted quite a few cups.
Yeah.
A lot where I barely broke even on that project.
Oof.
But yeah, it was a good learning experience. We'll say that.
There are no mistakes, just learning opportunities.
Yeah.
That's BS when it's your money going out as the mistakes.
Yeah. When I first did some glass engraving on the X-Tool rotary, putting like black water-based paint on it,
Mm-hmm.
that was a challenge to get that to come out right. Took a little while, but
Yeah, I forget what episode we ended up talking about your process for like putting acrylic on paint or acrylic paint on glass, and yeah, I don't think a lot of people knew that process. So that was good content.
yeah, and it was surprisingly enough, somebody in the maker community told me you could also do that on the fiber laser, and you can engrave glass with the fiber laser using black water-based paint, and it works remarkably well.
Really?
I just haven't tried putting a round glass on that rotary because I think it would probably just shatter the glass because that chuck on the rotary is so strong. I need to come up with a better way to mount a glass on it.
Yeah.
To do that.
Trey, what about you? What was your most challenging?
The most challenging would be I had some case knives last year. I guess it's been a year. It was they were my first case knives, and they were Christmas gifts for a gentleman's grandkids, and he wanted all three blades engraved with something different every blade. So like they all required setup every single time. So like that one order, I'm grouping them together, but yes, trying to get all that laid out and correct.
Yeah, I don't think people realize that when they place an order, they think, oh, you just set it in there and you set it to fire off and you're good to go. But yeah, the setup time it takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Matt, I did think of one I had to bring up.
Of course you did.
I
You want to
never
one
really
up
posted
Trey?
much.
That's fine.
No,
Go ahead.
it wasn't. This one wasn't so challenging. It just took a long time to get the setup right. But I actually had a fly fishing company reach out to me about engraving some of their fly reels, and these are like $800 fly reels, and they're like, "Can you just do a test for us?" I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, that's like an heirloom
I
piece.
could ruin that really fast.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of conversation about this may not be sellable or usable, and they're like, "Oh, we can replace parts." I'm like, "All right."
You're like, I'm
So-
going to need a couple tests. Just
Yeah, and literally once I got everything set up, the actual laser engraving on the fiber laser, I think it took less than a minute, and I did 2 reels that way.
Oh, really?
Back to back. So like 3 hours of setup and about 2 minutes of engraving, and it was done. I was like, "Whew."
Leave it
Yeah,
to
but-
us to churn like 10 seconds worth of content into like 3 weeks worth of.
Yeah.
Here's me setting up the laser. Here's me measuring. Here's me
Powder
measuring
coating,
again.
or
Measure
laser-
twice.
Lasering powder coated aluminum is actually pretty easy because when you
Yeah.
just burn
Yeah.
through it, you have that perfect base. So it doesn't matter how deep or how not, like it's always got that perfect backing
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it. Now I'm not saying you can't mess it up, but it is a very good.
Oh, if you can
material.
mess it up,
Yeah,
I
and
probably have.
Yeah. And the hard part was the lettering was on a
rounding.
curve around the reel, and it was only like 1.5 millimeters tall.
Ooh.
It was super tiny text, and I was like, oh man.
So how do you do that? Do you attach it to something that is like
I
cylindrical?
actually used the X tool to make a jig out of wood, and then set that in the fiber laser, so I could just set the reel and it would be perfectly placed every time.
It's the inception of laser.
Yeah. Chicken.
I used a laser
48.
to make the thing for the laser.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing is the fiber laser, nothing's moving. Like, so you don't really have to,
Right.
once you get it set up, like it's done. You don't have to lock anything down and
Yeah.
all of that. So
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah. But if it's a round object, you put the
you just don't
thing
want to
on, right?
bump.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'll be entering the fiber scene here fairly shortly. Working
Great.
on a couple things, so
Well,
actually have one company I'm currently working with, talking to them about fiber because I had another company reach out, and I've been talking to them about fiber, but I'm like, well, I'm currently under contract with this other company, and so let's see how that goes. And well, I don't know. Stand by.
If it starts with an M and ends with Monport, don't do it.
And
Dang.
I'll just throw it out there.
feel strongly much? Well, they are in the running, but that's not one of the two. But yeah. But Steve, you're happy with your Monport, right?
Yeah, I've had a really good experience with it. In fact, I think in 2 days I'll have had it a year. Yeah.
How soon would you guys say? Okay, assuming you paid full price, we'll just go with that assumption, right? Assuming you paid full price, because I know each one of us has a different deal or whatever. But if you paid full price, how soon do you think you've paid off your lasers? Like, Steve, let's go with you. Like, if for the fiber laser, if you paid full price for that, how fast would you have paid that off? Or are you close?
I think I would be. I haven't, to be honest, I haven't kept track, but I would say based on the things I've done and payments I've received, I think I'd be very close to having it paid off right now.
Yeah. Nice. Trey, what about you?
That 6 to 8 months range, I would probably agree with that. That's making no money, just, turning it back over. I'd say 6 to 8 months.
Yeah. You throw affiliate sales on there, you pay it off in a month.
Affiliate sales is I mean,
Really?
I know we all do it, but that's where it's at.
It is. Yeah. That's I mean, honestly, like way better in the laser space than I thought it would be. For affiliate
100%,
sales.
yeah.
And
There's a whole nother. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. But yes, it really.
Right.
And that's the thing. Like people, I can get upset and I can say with everything, but we all do. We get so many messages on, hey, what laser should I buy? Should I do this? Hey, costs you
Right.
nothing. It'll save you 5%, but use my code because I just spent 2 hours talking to you about it.
right.
And then they don't. And they don't. Like, I
Yeah.
mean, it's obviously they didn't do it, but yet they have the laser. It's like,
Yeah.
come on, like.
I've had it where they're like, "Yeah, thanks for the code or whatever," and
Yeah.
and I'll go because there's at least one affiliate I can go and I can see there's names attached to orders, and I can see, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess they maybe used my code, but somebody else's link or something because I didn't get that one. But yeah, I think ever since doing YouTube, for me. That's kind of a major reason why I've made the shift from Instagram to YouTube is because people are searching for that particular subject typically, and and the algorithm is serving that video up for that viewer. And so if somebody's searching like best laser to engrave X, then X as in like, you know, fill in the blank, not as in X as in Twitter. But, you know, best laser to engrave X. Well, then next time they log in, my video might pop up, and they're going to watch that video and give it a thumbs down, and then leave a nasty comment. But they're going to buy if they want to use the code, you know, because, I mean, we all do it, right? We click on,
Right.
like even a Google search, and now that Google and YouTube are the same, people are doing Google searches for like X tool affiliate code. Boom. And then a video pops up and they watch the video, and then now they click on your link. So versus Instagram, which is like just random as all get out, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the reason why I made the push.
No, it makes total sense. And at least you have a backing to why they should buy off of you. I mean, or why they should use your code, et cetera, et cetera. Or they don't even know why they're doing it, and they click the link, and the link's now attached to their browser, and the cookie's there, which
Right.
is awesome. For me, they message me for 2 weeks straight, and then all of a sudden they don't buy.
Yeah.
They just don't use it.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, well,
The randoms help pay for the ones that are actually using your tech support services.
yeah, no.
We
Which I
appreciate
am
the good
happy.
random.
Let me back up. I am happy to help anybody and answer questions. It has
Same.
nothing to do with that. It's just it costs them nothing to help me in the long run.
Help
And it's
me
not like
They
we're
save
help
money.
you.
and it's not like we're making a lot off of it. It's the compoundingness that
Right.
turns it over.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, and I don't-
you're not
I
on
don't know why a lot of
95% commissions?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know why people wouldn't use an affiliate link, because usually they save money.
Yeah.
Or they're just using
know,
somebody
so-
else's, and they,
Right.
that's
Yeah.
it's hard telling.
So my toughest laser project was I used to have a full spectrum Muse laser. It was a 45 watt CO2 laser. I still have it. It's just under my workbench. But the last job that I ran on it, the tube went out on it. Well, I guess it's not the last job, because I replaced the tube and then I broke the screen. So it's all,
Punching it.
Fit of rage.
yeah. Maybe. So yeah, I was running a job, and I had it was a 2.5 inch thick walnut chopping block, like a big brisket board, and I think it was like 24 inches wide by 16 inches deep, and so it was a monster. I mean,
Dang.
in walnut alone, it was over $100, I think. Just with material waste and everything. And I was running the job, and then I was engraving. Actually, the neighbors that moved in across the street, they're friends of ours, so I was engraving a board for them, and it ran halfway through, and then the laser just died. Halfway through, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And they were moving in 2 days, so I was like, "I have no tube. I'm in the middle of a job. Do I make this thing thinner?" So that was super frustrating, which is why I got in talks with OhmTech. I was like, I need a laser. But yeah, that was ultra frustrating for me.
Definitely. Gosh.
That was
So we've got a question. Jimmy McAnally is asking, so is the air exhaust around laser really that toxic?
It,
So-
yes,
think so.
it can be. What happens, especially the fiber laser is open, and let's go to the fiber laser because of CO2. But fiber laser is open, so when you're burning off this powder coating, it sends some of that up in the air, as well as not so. I don't think of firefly as floating, but it has that.
Don't go chasing fireflies.
But that will lift off the cup as well. And yes, so what I do, and I know that Steve as well, we have the 8-inch AC Finity.
Whoa, weird
fin
flex.
fan. Yeah, and it pulls it right from the source. So we put it about 2 inches from the cup itself, and just suck it right out of there.
Yeah. Nothing gets away from that thing, right?
Nothing, not even shop rags. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, usually when I'm burning the tumblers, I'm like, I can kind of smell it a little bit, and then I'll open the garage door to go throw something away in the trash bin, and the smoke is coming around the side of the garage. And I'm like, whoa, man, I forgot how bad that really was. But
You usually know it's bad when you go to pick your nose and you throw the booger in the trash and it goes dink. Yeah, might want to have a mask. Dink.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I think that's aluminum or aluminium if you're across the pond.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's true. A lot of things, like, people make stupid comments about, oh, you're not wearing a mask and you're laser engraving wood sometimes, right? Mm-hmm. And these are the same people who sit around a campfire, right? So, I mean, there's a certain degree, like, should you be inhaling the stuff? No, right? Should you be a smoker? No. But some materials is fine. It's, it's not great for you, but it's not toxic, I would say. So it's not going to, unless you, of course, have asthma or something like that. But then there are other materials like the metals, plastics. Yeah. And you got to be careful because not all plastics are the same. There's, different acrylics and stuff that you should not laser engrave.
Yeah.
Epoxy, do not laser engrave epoxy.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can explode.
And then light watching, using the different glasses that they provide for these lasers. You actually should look at investing in, which I don't have, because I usually just set the job and run it, and I'm usually looking through the camera screen. But not every single pair of glasses that they provide are the right blue light that you got to watch out for, right? So, like, if you're using a diode laser, it's blue light, and there's, like, I've got a blue light filter on these glasses. Of course, I wouldn't look at the laser through these glasses because it's amplified, but that's another thing that I think people don't consider is the light source as being a danger as well.
Well, and all light sources aren't in the same range. I don't remember the exact ranges from diode to fiber to CO2, but they're all in different range categories. So
we'll wait while you research. That's fine.
Yeah. So even though you have glasses for one, make sure that you're not, crossing them over.
That's a good point, because I've actually picked up the wrong set of safety glasses from the other laser, and all of a sudden I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah, the light's
this isn't for this laser, and it's a totally different wavelength.
Yeah. Red glasses, blue light.
But even like my 50-watt fiber to my 100-watt MOPA, they're totally different glasses too. So you kind of have to just be a little careful.
I just had this visual of Steve like a moth to a flame. He's like, pretty light.
I can't stop looking.
Sucked in.
Next thing you know, Steve's like, hey guys, gonna get off social media for a while. I'm having eye surgery.
Yeah. It's just white pads over my eyes.
Now, we do have the Mothman here in West Virginia, so you better be careful.
Heard of that.
Yeah. It's only 40 minutes from my house is the statue. So come on down. We'll go look at it together.
Do you guys follow Nick, Build Dad Build?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you seen he's got the glasses that, like, they're the circular glasses. They look like the old school motorcycle glasses. I need to get a pair of those.
Yeah, like the old welding. They have the old welding style that have like the actual. Yeah.
Yeah. I would look pretty fun in those.
Yeah.
That might be my new profile picture. Bug man.
Sure.
It'll help.
Right. Nick Poole says, which laser would you prefer if you had to choose? Oh, this is going to get maybe contentious. I think we all kind of are on the same page. Which laser would you prefer if you had to choose between diode, CO2, or fiber?
I don't have a CO2, so that's out of my game or my choices. But honestly, I use the fiber about as much as I use the X-Tool diode. I ran those cups yesterday, and tomorrow I've got to engrave some whiskey barrel tops with the diode laser. So it's kind of a toss up for me.
So Steve, non-committal. Trey?
Right.
I mean, if I was just to draw a line in the sand and jump over it, it'd be fiber.
Yeah.
Speed, accuracy, power, capability.
Yeah.
There's just the fiber kind of and size. It beats out all the other ones. The problem with the fiber is it is a smaller engraving area, but the light beam is so precise that the engraving doesn't come out as great because you would have it wants to cut, like it wants to those small pinpoint dots. That's where, and the beam path is so tight compared to a CO2 and a diode where it's stretched out just a little bit more.
So you like it tight?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
She said both of those things.
And Steve is non-committal. That's what
I would say the fiber has been more profitable.
Okay.
For me
in
too.
the long run.
For me as
That's
well.
good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, weird flexes for both of you. I'm going to go CO2 for me. I mean, I guess that's because I don't have a fiber. So I am kind of going between diode and CO2. Diodes are fine. They have their use cases. I really like diodes for like fine text and things like that. So it's really nice for that. The speed of the CO2 for me is, and I guess it's unfair because it's 130 watt, right? It's not like if I'm going to compare a 40 watt CO2 and a 40 watt diode, I would probably go diode, honestly.
I could see that. Yeah.
So
cool thing
there's a
about
lot of variability in that,
Yeah, the cool thing about the diode is kind of like Steve does. You can move it literally to your project and do whatever you want. Now, when you're encased in a 40 watt, the K40s that are a toy to me, to a lot of us, it's like you can't do anything in unless you put a 12 by 12 piece of wood inside of it.
Yeah.
The diode you can move to platforms and.
So the Muse, you can the bottom comes off, which was the big selling point for me, was so I could take it and engrave a table or whatever, which I never actually did.
I remember you saying that, but it was super heavy, right?
But it's very heavy, and you have all the different connections, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, if it's between a 40 watt diode and a 40 watt CO2, I'm gonna pick the diode.
I would back that decision
until they have a 130 watt diode. Can you
probably
imagine?
make something? I don't know.
Yeah, it would look like an igloo on top of your laser. How many diodes you got to put in that thing?
Yeah, the
Like
beam
40
paths
pounds.
are like magnifying it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not great at math. What's 130 divided by 5? 130 divided by 5.
10 would be 13,
26.
so,
That'd be 26 diodes,
Yeah.
depending on the size of the diode. So between 20 and 26 diodes in that thing. That'd be massive.
I am going to be trying out the Laser Pecker 2
Okay.
laser here in the
The
next few
Galvo
weeks,
style
so
one,
because-
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a diode Galvo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
interested.
Very small engraving
I am
area,
interested
but,
to see how that works. So
What's-
David Miller? He has one
Mm-hmm.
because he posted about it.
By
Yeah.
Suman has one.
Yeah.
Suman has one.
Okay.
He loves it.
Yeah. David Miller, new patron member. So.
Yeah, I heard.
Yeah.
That's why I threw his name out there
Yeah.
because I like him.
Yeah.
Keep supporting us.
That's right. Yeah.
Well, not
he's
us,
got a
me, you.
better beard than I do. Well, you've been on the podcast so much.
Trey's getting paid.
Trey, you weren't supposed to say anything.
I had to pay to get on.
Right. That's basically what I did is I just took Steve's money and passed it to Trey. So
Smart move.
hey, that way I don't have to handle the taxes on it.
Should have just used my code. Dang it.
That's right. And by the way, I'm putting all my affiliate links in the description below. So if you want to use these guys, these knuckleheads, you go over to their page.
Jeez.
No, I'm going to put your guys' links in the bio of this. So head over there if you want to support one of these guys. And But yeah, so we have another question. I think, let's see, provide details of exhaust setups in the show notes when it's released.
Not a problem at all.
Do
I mean,
that.
realistically, it's pretty straightforward. At least my setup and Steve's is we're just
Yeah.
using an AC Affinity fan off of, you can get them off Amazon. I use an 8-inch, and I necked it down to 6-inch because I actually have it teed off for both my CO2 and my both fiber lasers. And saying that, PowerTech actually has a plastic blast gate 6-inch that I've used, so it's all ran inside there. I just switch them and just pull the.
So I was running a job on running some tests for the 40-watt module, and I was doing rubber for like rubber stamps. And so I just got a mini split in the garage like 3 weeks ago, and so I haven't opened the garage door, but that rubber was like, I mean, it smelled like a NASCAR race in there. I mean, it was so bad. It was like burning rubber. And so finally I had to, let go of my cheapness and open up the garage door to let some of the cool air out. But yeah, it smelled so bad. And I was like, if I wasn't doing a video for this, I would take the diode laser and set it inside my 130 watt OhmTech laser and use the exhaust for that, because that vents to the outside. And I mean, I think that would work, but
Well, you certainly.
yeah, I wouldn't have to waste the air conditioning.
Well, one of the problems you have with an exhaust system, from what I found, and maybe you found the same thing, Trey, is when there's a lot of vents that are 4-inch, like dryer vents, if you're going to put them through the wall of your garage or workspace. And you can find a few 6-inch vents, but once you go to 8-inch diameter exhaust all the way through, it is very hard to find anything that you would want to put on the side of your house. And so I've got a 6-inch vent, but it's same as Trey's. It's reduced down from the 8-inch fan, but most of the time I'm running the fan at like a power level 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
And 3 or 4, and it's more than enough, and you can barely hear it.
Like, look at this house. It's got a chimney in a garage.
Yeah.
Well, the kicker that a lot of people don't, I mean, everybody looks at numbers, but the CFM from the 6 is like 400, and then you go to the 8, it's double that. It's almost 800. It's like 795 or something like that. So even necking it down, even if you take off, let's say 200 of the CFMs off of that, it's still pulling a crazy amount. Now, my CO2 has 2 outlets, as well as, Matt's talking about. It has 2 outlets, so I needed all of the pull.
I'm gonna add one more just so I can out flex him. Mine has 3.
Cut one right in the lid of it, just sucking it out of the top. Got this like Stranger Things like hand coming off of it.
Yes. Mine's like an
a
octopus.
Play-Doh head.
I have 8 tubes running out of the. What is that machine?
Oh shoot!
OhmTech would be like, yeah, could you take that down, please?
Yeah. We do not
Is
approve.
cutting 7 holes in your laser.
Yeah. You could take the diode laser and set it on top of that plastic top, and then cut the hole using the other laser.
A laser cutting a laser.
That's right. Back to our inception.
Yeah, what could go wrong?
So honestly, I did think about this. I thought I could take the X tool, set it on top, and cut out a section of the. So the OhmTech, the 130 watt, it's got like this bent plastic. The only problem is I don't know exactly what type of plastic that is, but it's got like a tinted plastic piece that goes on top as the lid. And I thought I could cut out a little section, like a viewing window for the camera, because it's like a frosted, it's like a smoky color, and you can't ever get pictures that, like, you can't get good video or anything. So okay, OhmTech, if you're listening to this, and I don't advise this, so for the listening audience, but to get good video, I put a magnet on the catch, so that way the sensor doesn't detect that the lid is open.
It's open. Yeah.
Yeah. But then that defeats the purpose of the exhaust, right? So I wouldn't do that with anything like rubber or anything like that. I would just be like, here's the finished product, but yeah, so I've thought about cutting like a little viewing window out, but put a different color, like a clear acrylic on top. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. I mean, it's some safety, but I don't think it's rated for enough. I don't know. I could be wrong on that. But I don't know if it'd be a hard time cutting it like regular acrylic could. I don't know.
Yeah,
or
then
if
you
it
run
would
the risk of
reflect it
just
or
screwing
burn
it up.
Yeah, you'd probably just melt it,
Yeah.
Because it won't burn through it. It'll just get it really hot.
I might make for some good content. I set my shop on fire.
I got that.
I did too.
Don't step in that one. Don't step in it.
No.
Well, let's move over to the social media stuff.
Gladly. I hate it.
Yeah. Yes, Nick, that's true.
Yeah.
If you're not in the chat, then you're not in the chat. Head over to patreon.com/makealunch podcast to sign up to be part of the discussion. So Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Threads. What's the one that the other whatnot? What's a
That was a selling app. Yeah, that wasn't.
oh, selling?
Yeah.
Yeah, all kinds of different social media platforms. Pinterest, thank you, Nick. I mean, just so many different platforms now. People can not going there, Jimmy. He says OnlyFans. Nobody wants to see shots of or pictures of my feet, so we're not doing that. But yeah, there's so many different social media platforms now. It's like, which one, if you were starting your business off today, knowing what you know now, because I think we've all done that. We've all signed up for all the different platforms. We've all tried all the different platforms. Steve, I think you're still doing pretty much all of them, right? You're pretty active on all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm active. I guess I post on Instagram, and then I post the same exact video and content description on the other ones.
Yeah. So if you were to pick, two to like never have joined, which two would they be?
I've never gotten anywhere on Twitter. I have an account.
Right.
I spun my wheels for a long time on that one and just finally gave up. There was just no rewards there, and people who were copying my videos were getting more engagement than I was with my own videos. So I wouldn't do that one. And for a second one, I don't know which one I would cut out.
I know John is big on Character Red. John is big on Pinterest, and has said it's done really well for him. I had initially, when I started the business, I posted some stuff on Pinterest, but that was before it was really big for content creators and stuff. I think things have changed, and I haven't really ventured into that because I feel just oversaturated with social media as it is. But Pinterest can be a decent one, I would think, for like if you're trying to sell products. Like you think you would try Pinterest at any point?
Okay, so I have a Pinterest, and I tried some of the tips and tricks, and I didn't really get a whole lot out of it. Now, granted, I didn't put a ton of time in it. I think I used it for maybe a month, maybe 2 months, and I saw no feedback. Well, granted, we all know it takes time, and you got to play the game, but now people are making money off of it, and like there's all kinds of incentives that it'd be something maybe to retry, but kind of like the path the conversation is going down is like everything's a bit oversaturated. Like where do you draw the line in the sand and like, hey, I'm on Instagram, if you want to talk to me, here I am. Like that's so I would drop TikTok for sure, and
yeah,
I would probably drop TikTok as well. I mean, I've got some followers on there, but there's just no community to it.
Yeah,
like there is on Instagram, and
not for our space. I think there's definitely community engagement in other areas, but
Yeah.
I haven't really seen that in the maker community as much. I mean, you might get one or two people who say, yeah, it's super successful for us. But, you know, I think like Sam and Anil, they're big on TikTok. Woodwork is their account. They're big on TikTok, and that's how they got, I don't want to say discovered. That's not the right word, but that's how they kind of hit it off in the social media platforms and stuff. But, you know, for the most part, I think most everybody we talk to, it's like TikTok is a you know, afterthought for the most part.
Well, and not to go, but I've talked to other companies and marketers and like people that actually, and they don't even care about the numbers because the numbers are so oversaturated that
Right.
to them it doesn't matter. It's not a true numeric for them to go off of.
Well, and it's a lot of people who are watching your videos are not US based.
Yeah.
There. So I think if you're a retailer or a company trying to do business with an influencer, TikTok is probably not the best bang for your buck.
Now, anything that you do with somebody, they lump it in there and say, hey, post it here, here, and here. But
right.
I agree with you. That is not their means of, you know, there's always more to it is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like, even for me, Instagram, I initially thought it was going to be more for putting my portfolio out there so people could hire me. And then it ended up becoming the more woodworkers and makers that I followed, that ended up being my audience, was people who are already doing what I'm doing. So from a selling perspective, for me, it's not been as successful as like some people do great on it, you know, for selling things. In fact, some of the Patreon members, they do really well on, you know, selling projects or getting jobs off of Instagram. And so, but for me, like Instagram, I, you know, made the huge push, as you guys both know. I mean, made a huge push to do Instagram and hit numbers and stuff, which is the number one reason for doing that was for brands. And for that, it's paid off. But for like selling products, it's not paid off. So for me, you know, TikTok, obviously that's an easy one. I probably would have made as huge of a push on Instagram, like really making it like a chore. It was like another job for me. So I'd probably take that a little bit lighter, and I would probably go all in on YouTube, which is kind of what I'm doing now.
I can see that.
Yeah. So Threads, I mean, what do you think is going to be the future of Threads?
Well, sort of like somebody said in the pre-show, if we're referring back to that, was now Threads has video. So like what's separating it from everything else? I enjoyed it at the very beginning when it was kind of low key and like people were on the same number level, I guess, and didn't have, you know, so you're all were bantering back and forth and resharing and talking, but now it's spreading in different directions again already, that it's already
they're going to call it IG2.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, it just, I don't know.
You guys remember IGTV?
Oh yeah.
short run, but yeah.
Where you're like, oh, this is like a 30-minute video on Instagram? Like, yeah, no thanks. Not going to watch that.
And it got no views either. Like anything you put on there did not do good.
Yeah. It's kind of like lives, you know. You got 12 people on a live. Like, okay, I think it's time to end the live, but yeah.
It was like IGTV was just a way to spend more time to post content that didn't do well.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's just like Instagram is just so unpredictable, right? Like they're gonna change their algorithm. They're gonna change the way that they push things, and so whatever you're doing now, you're gonna have to pivot later. Whereas I find like YouTube is more consistent. Like they're the elder in this space. where they kind of know what they want to be when they grow up, and I don't know.
But that's like, we none of us know what it takes to go viral for anything.
Yeah. Well, Steve does.
But I'm saying, like, you hit it, and
he has
like,
a secret.
it's awesome.
Remember, we're going to talk about it.
He does have the secret.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are
we going to do an after show? Are we going to do an after show?
It's going to be there.
Yeah, we should save that for the after show.
Sure. Yeah. I'll think of something.
Yeah. Oh, it was great for the. I don't know if you listened to Shock the Fox Ty's episode, and he's like, I was like, so how does the how did you come up with the name Shock the Fox? And he's like, well, it's kind of interesting. He's like, I'll save it for the after show. And we get into the after show, and I'm not going to spoil it here. So you have to be a Patreon member to hear the backstory. But it was this huge like teaser moment, and then you go to the after show, and it was like, oh, that's interesting. It was super interesting. Did you listen to that? I'm not to put you on the spot. Did you listen to that after show, Steve?
Not yet.
Okay. Yeah, just wait till you get to that one. It was super funny. There's huge build up, and it was. I'm not gonna say it was the Sopranos finale type of build up.
It's close though, huh?
Yeah.
But if we were to revert back to the conversation of IG, yes, I've gotten business from IG. A lot of it actually has been the cups because I can ship those
Right.
small handheld items and stuff like that. People want to reproduce that kind of stuff. The only reason I stay on IG or have when things were low was the community, friends, having that ability to keep talking. And then I'm like, well, I'm already here. Might as well throw something out there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's, that comes back to it. And then you got the businesses and the sponsorships that,
Right.
pays for it too.
Well, I think I have something for the after show. Well, we can chat about.
Woo.
What say you? I mean, we've been recording for quite a bit, so you guys want to head over to that after show?
That sounds
good.
great.
I think let's do that. Roll that beautiful bean footage. What is it, the commercial? No? Bush's Baked Beans? No?
Oh. I still don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, gosh. That was a joke that did not go over like I planned it.
There goes Matt, not making sense again.
That's right. Thank you to Surf Prep for sponsoring this episode. If you want to get 10% off your order, head over to surfprepsanding.com. Enter the code MAKERLOUNGE, all one word. Or you can go over to these guys' pages, and they'll have a link in their descriptions as well. Because they're affiliates on everything that I'm on affiliate with. We like to copy each other a little bit.
Yeah, I think so.
We've all got great taste. I think that's what it is. Yeah. Thank you to our patrons. We've got a number of top tier patrons that I'd like to mention at the end of this episode. And actually, I think that 3 of our top tier patrons are watching us live right now. So I'm going to mention them first. We got Jimmy McAnally. We've got Dylan Furniture, Nick Poole with Dylan Furniture, and we've got Don Patterson. And our additional Rockstar patrons, Wimm Design, Calvary Customs LLC, Cleancut Woodworking, Bailey Thompson, Dave Garcia, Broken Lead Woodworks, Starks Lagoon, Shock the Fox, and Corey Davoll, who just increased his membership to the Rockstar level. So thank you. If you want to be a Patreon member, again, patreon.com/MakerLoungePodcast. Thank you guys for being here. Trey, Steve, any last words?
I love every one of you.
I know he does.
Oh, so you don't love everybody? Thank you. Head over to that after show.